So it might not be abundantly obvious to everyone, but those of you in the know will recognise this straight away. It is, of course, a DKTronics aftermarket case for a Sinclair Spectrum. And I believe this one has a Sinclair Spectrum in it as well. I think it's in issue 2 from the photographs that I saw. So these were released, I think there were various revisions of it by a third-party company from Sinclair to turn the computer keyboard from, well, this into this. And that is a really nice, satisfying keyboard to type on, proper mechanical key switches as well. A massive improvement, and if it's a computer that you use all the time and you need the keyboard all the time, it's almost a necessity, I think. Yeah. I believe there were different revisions to these. So the later ones had a full-length spacebar, so that makes me think that this is an earlier keyboard, because that is the spacebar right there. It also adds a numerical keyboard, which is quite a nice feature as well, something every computer can do with. So it's a nice little modification that you could make to your Spectrum back in the day, just to improve it. I think from the photographs that I've seen before I bought this, that this has been modified again a little bit further as well. I'll run through it and I'll go into the reasons why I suspect that. But yeah, right now let's just take a little bit of a closer look at it, shall we? So yeah, we've got proper keycaps, something that was missing from the Spectrum at the time, and they really have got a very nice feel to them as well. Looks like this key there, that's let's see, they lost its sticker, because all the lettering, I should point out on this, is a sticker on top of the keycap. It looks like that might have lost it, so it's been manually written on. So there's an R, you know, R for enter. That's the space bar. That, I don't know. That's illegible. It could be symbol shift. I'm really not sure. It's very, very dirty, but I suspect it's probably been in storage for a long time looking at it. The seller I bought it off didn't seem to know an awful lot about it either. They said they plugged it in and the power light had come on, and that's all the testing they've done with it. So, so yeah, I couldn't get any history on it. Yeah, some of the lettering's starting to wear off there. From what I've seen online and the research I've done, and when I say research, I mean, like, you know, a quick Google. I don't think they came with a power LED, so I think that's a modification right there. Let's go around the back. Yeah, so we've got our standard power port, expansion, ear and mic socket, and TV out. And then we've got this, and I don't think this is original to the case either. I think this is another modification, and it's a momentary push switch. I'm gonna assume it's a reset switch, but who knows? There's a mains power cable coming out of it as well, and I'm assuming that, and I think the original cases did allow room to put the original transformer inside as well. And there's a toggle switch, which I presume is an on-off switch. Again, I don't think that's original. It gets a little bit more interesting when you look underneath, because we've either got a speaker vent or a heat vent, I'm not sure which, but you'll also notice that the base is made out of wood. And I'm pretty sure, and please can someone correct me if I'm wrong, that the original case did not come with a wooden bottom, so this is something that's been added later. So maybe the original broke, or maybe there's more going on inside and it required a new base. I don't know. I'm presuming this is where the power supply has been mounted. So it's got 2 screws, it's missing 2. That's something we can look at. And there's a hole right below. You can just see the Spectrum speaker through it, actually. So presumably that was hacked in just so the sound could get out. I don't know. Yeah. So I'm assuming that's not just damage that was done on purpose, but whenever you do have damage to the underside of a case, I find the best way of dealing with it is just to do this. And then you pretend it was never there. Yeah, a hack job. Let's have a look inside. Let's have a look. So, 4 flathead screws. I always wonder, in a world where crosshead screws exist, why anyone would ever use flathead screws, but I mean, there they are, I suppose. I hate them. I've taken more chunks out of my skin with screwdrivers slipping off these than anything else. So, anyway, stop whinging, I'll just buzz these screws out. Alright, let's see if that gives us any access. Yep, that's lifting away. Okay, let me just reposition the camera. And we're in. So there you can see the underside of the keyboard PCB. So we've got some real key switches under there. And there's a ribbon cable that comes down, and yeah, I mean it just connects right onto the main board, and it goes in exactly where the membrane would in the original case. So yeah, we've got an issue 2, and it looks to be a fairly early one. And I say that because we've got these disc capacitors, and we've got these electrolytics here, which are radial caps which have been bent over, and that is actually done by the factory. I've got another fairly early issue 2 that's like that as well. It's got wires tapped right onto the power supply plug, and they connect straight to that just looks like an ordinary Sinclair Spectrum power supply. It's just the case has been removed, and that's been screwed into the case. That's fine. We've got a loudspeaker here which isn't connected to anything. Sanyo branded, so it's probably been ripped right out of a tape recorder. It's probably just as well that's been disconnected, because honestly, the Spectrum, it never had a decent sound chip until we got the 128 models. Before then it was a little bit rough, but the beeper did its job and it was fine, but never ever has anyone ever said to me, oh god, I wish that was a bit louder. So I don't know, maybe that was wired in at some point and it's been disconnected. If we go over here, we can see the original speakers still in place, and that's where the hole's been cut underneath, so presumably just to make the sound a bit louder. But you'll see the couple of wires have been tapped off of the connections there, and they're going into this thing. I'll try and get that to focus a bit better. Ooh. Better than that. Come on, focus, you can do it. Yeah, and then that in turn is connected into the composite output going into the RF modulator. So I'm wondering if that's some sort of an attempt to add sound to the video signal. Now, I've never seen that done before on a Speccy, so that's a new one on me. But it doesn't, I mean, it's obviously an aftermarket part, but it doesn't look to be new. It looks as old as the rest of the computer, so maybe it was some electronics kit that was available back in the day. I honestly don't know. It's interesting. I suppose the only way to really know what it does is to power the machine up and see what it does. But yeah, I'll probably do that next. So we've got the LED coming through the case. I presume somewhere there's going to be a limiting resistor, because those wires go straight into the power supply. What else? What else? I think that's it. It's interesting. It's obviously been owned by a proper hobbyist who's been playing about and experimenting. Oh yeah, the switch, the power switch. It's probably fine, but that it's a metal toggle switch and it is switching the live on the mains. I don't know if I like that. I've no problem with that, but I'd rather it had a plastic cover on the switch. Just call me paranoid. But we'll check that out anyway. I'm sure it's very safe, but who knows. What else? Oh yeah, the cable's been extended, and there's some, I don't know what that is, like some sort of plastic sheath that's been wrapped over it. I don't know if that's been done to a decent standard or not. Really, I should investigate it. Yeah, and oh, what's that? Some animal or something that's died in there and left a shell, or I don't know. Oh god! Oh god! It's a fingernail. It's a fingernail. Oh, will people stop sending me computers with fingernails in? Do you know, I wish I could say that was the first time that's happened, but it isn't. Oh, God. Okay. Do you know what? I'm gonna put the lid back on and I'm gonna power it up, and we'll just see. We'll just see if it does anything. I'll go and get a fire extinguisher handy as well, just in case I need that. But I'm sure it's fine. Let's give it a go. Okay, I'm hooked up to my CRT. It is plugged in. Just before I flick that switch though, I've got a... yeah, let me just... No, it looks fine. Okay, that's fine. I wanted to check just for any sort of... make sure that switch isn't live before I put my hand on it really, but let's see what happens. Not a lot. I can hear the coil buzzing inside. I'll probably need to tune it in. Bear with me while I do that. I'll bring you back once I've tuned it in, assuming it will tune in. We'll see what happens. Well, look at that. We have a picture. It seems to work. Does the keyboard? Seems to be good. Yeah, that's responding. Delete. And I can hear sound. Not sure where it's coming from. I don't know if that's the TV or the speaker. Let me just crank the volume up on the TV. Oh, tell you what. Yeah, I don't have a remote control for this TV. Bear with me a second. Just managed to inadvertently change the channel because that's the sort of idiot I am. There we go. Right. Volume. Okay. That is indeed outputting sound, albeit a bit crackly, through the RF. Very crackly, in fact. But yeah. Let me try it with a beep command. That'll make more sense. Beep is there. I don't know. 5. Keyboard's lovely, by the way. I mean, it works. It's a little crackly, but yeah, I mean, I've never seen that before. That is a mod that outputs an original Spectrum sound through the TV. And it works. Not brilliantly, but it works. While I'm at it, what's that switch at the back? Is that a reset? Yes, it is. Well, there you go. Wow. Okay, so now I'm hooked up to my slightly more modern TV. I'm still using RF, but this time I'm not getting any sound through the TV. So it works on the old CRT portable. It's not working on this. So there must be differences in the way that the TVs are interpreting the signal. But hey ho. What I've found is the internal speaker is working as well. I just couldn't hear it over the CRT because I had the volume cranked up. But yeah, the internal speaker works too. But when you do tell the computer to process a sound, there's an issue. So I'll show you what the problem is. So if I just give it the beep command again. Hopefully you can hear the speaker, but it's doing all sorts of weird things to the picture. Now it's not as bad this time, but what it was doing is the picture would start rolling afterwards and then it would settle back down again. It could be a capacitor issue, I don't know. It could just be a compatibility issue, so whenever this mod was designed... Oh no, we had a bit of a picture roll there. Yeah, whenever this mod was designed, these sorts of modern TVs, I mean, this isn't even that modern, it's an old LCD thing, but these weren't around, so they do process the picture signal in a slightly different way. But yeah, I mean, everything seems to work on it. It's clearly been somebody's pride and joy at some point. They've taken a stock Spectrum, they've modified it with the keyboard, they've fitted the light, the reset switch, the power switch, that sound modification, but that looks like an evolution. So at first they've cut a hole in the bottom of the case so that they could hear the speaker better. That clearly wasn't enough for them, so they put that big cassette recorder speaker in there. Clearly that was a bad idea, so they've disconnected that and then they've put this mod in to output the sound through the RF. So you can see it's almost like a test bed that somebody's owned. Somebody's really enjoyed this machine and taken some time over it. So I don't want to do too much to it other than maybe a little bit of preventative maintenance, so I'll probably recap it. I might take the heat sink out of it and put a switching regulator in, take the 7805 out because they generate a lot of heat. Just little things like that, maybe put some heat sinks on some of the chips. I just want to try and preserve this because somebody's worked hard to get this in the state it's in. And it'd be a shame to make any changes to it, I think. So there you go, it's an interesting little thing. I'll probably save the work I'm going to do for another video, so I just wanted to have a little look at this machine. But wait, there's more. I got a box of stuff. So what did they send me along with it as well? Well, I've got 2 joysticks, branded Texas Instruments, and I'm pretty sure these aren't really for a Spectrum. These relate to the TI-99 computers. But if we look at them, they've been rewired. Rewired to what exactly, I don't know, whether that's a Kempston or a Sinclair or what, I don't know. I'll have to ohm it out with a meter. But yeah, a couple of joysticks. Horrible feeling joysticks, I might add, but nonetheless. A power supply, Rockwell branded. That, I'm pretty sure, has nothing to do with the Spectrum. I don't know why it's in here. I have got a Rockwell calculator, though, that this will probably fit. So I might be able to use that for something else. That's cool. Audio leads. That's great. I'm getting quite a collection of those. That is a Sinclair Spectrum power supply. It's the UK 1400 model as well, which is the decent one. Yeah, excellent. I've got a whole rack of cassettes here, so I've not gone through these properly yet myself, so I'm not entirely sure what's in here, but let's have a look. Sinclair ZX Spectrum Horizons. Yeah, so that is the pack-in demo software that came with new computers. Do you know, I'd not long bought a copy of this as well, but it's something I was thinking about reviewing. But, yeah, I've got 2 copies now. They sold 1 million, take 2. So, Sabre Wolf and Jet Set Willy, so that's some sort of compilation cassette. Cool. Oh, here we are, we're getting into the copied stuff now. So, what does that say? The Hobbit and Time Gate. Okay, if that'll open. Yeah, and he's it's actually a Horizons cassette that he's put a sticker over and taped over. That's fine. Oh, good grief! What's that? Master Tape 4, 90-minute cassette. And a whole list of games on there. Yeah, we're really getting into some decent piracy now. But this is what it was like back in the day. It's a snapshot, isn't it? I mean, computer cassette, C15. Could be blank. Nothing written on it. One way to check. I'll just say at this point as well, if there's anything in here that I find and you want to take a closer look at, let me know. And if the tapes are still any good, yeah, I'm happy to do that. It's just branded movie. And it's clearly a broken case, but I'll get it open, which I can't. Oh, there it goes. Pool and movie. Who knows what's on that? What's that? Gazetta. I'm assuming that's some sort of publishing software. I don't know. Again, it's been pirated. On a W.H. Smith cassette. Fantastic. Valhalla and Manic Miner. Again, copied. Ooh, what's this? Ah! Okay. It's the Paxman Sports Pack. I used to have this back in the day, this cassette. I've been looking for a copy of it. Oh, that's excellent. I've been definitely looking for a copy of this. I hope that works. Games are terrible, but it's nostalgic for me, you know. You know how it is. More pirating. So this time he's gone to the trouble of actually producing a printed label. It looks... Oh, do you know? That's been printed on that Sinclair Spark printer paper, the shiny stuff. So it's aluminium backed black paper. And that's how that works. So at some point there must have been a Spectrum printer to go with this kit as well. So yeah, this guy took it seriously. He had quite a decent setup back in the day. Or girl, I don't know. I'm assuming it was a guy. It might not have been. I shouldn't assume things like that. World Cup. Okay. Another massive list of pirated games from Long John Sinclair here, or whatever the person's name was. A Seisho cassette, and Seisho, oh, they were that was the in-house brand for Dixon's at one point, I think. So Daley, Thompson's Decathlon. Okay. Don't know what's on this one. Master Chess. Is that it? And Auto Monopoly. Not familiar. I'm guessing it's a Monopoly type game. I don't know. Oh, something that's not been pirated. Something that's actually been bought. Wow. Match Point by Scion Software. Yeah. 8-bit tennis games. Yeah, we'll see. Tazword and what looks like a list of utilities. That's probably broken now. That's fine. VU Calc. He's photocopied the inlay for this one. Or she. Again, apologies. So they've made a bit more of an effort with the pirating this time. But yeah, it is on a W.H. Smith cassette. River Raid. Has that been photocopied? No, that is a real one. Okay. Blockbusters. That'll be an interesting one. I think I've played it on the BBC Micro. I've not played the Speccy version, so hopefully that'll work. Curry's Fun to Learn. That looks like one of the some of the packing software that was used when Curry's were selling the Spectrum Plus 2s. I'm assuming. I don't think it's a pirated game. No, I think it's an original. Yeah. Looks awful. More pirating. Spectrum Golf Football Manager. Scrabble and Attic Attack, apparently, on that one. Ah, God, another copy of Horizons. Assuming that's what's in it. Yeah, cool. Well, I'm not sure to them. And, oh, some double cassettes. So what have we got? Caterpillar. Not familiar with it. What's that one? That is a Your Sinclair cover tape, which has been ripped. Okay. What are we looking at? Is that another Your Sinclair cover tape? And more pirated stuff. So Games Planetoids. And Manic Miner. What's that? Cassette recorder head cleaner. I've never played it, but I've heard that's excellent. Yeah. And another Your Sinclair cover tape. Space Intruders. Yep, know a few of them. And yet another cover tape. And that's it. Oh, no. I've got a DKTronics joystick interface. I hope that works, because these are quite good. I think, if I remember correctly, the one port is Sinclair, one port is Kempston. I'm not sure which way around they are. I'll have to work it out. So presumably this was used with the two joysticks that came with it. I don't know. But then, actually, that would beg a question, wouldn't it? Because... let's see if I can see. I'm just looking at the joysticks now and I can't see any identifying marks on them. But to use these with that interface, one would have to be wired Sinclair, one would have to be wired Kempston, and I can't see any markings for which is which. Assuming they were wired for this at all, I don't know. So I think that's going to be an investigation. I need to find out. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway. Yeah, let me put all this away. So there you go. There's that. I think I'll probably call the video here. It was just to have a little look at it, really. But what I am going to do going forward is a little bit of, like I said, preventative maintenance. So I'll change the capacitors in it just to try and preserve this as much as possible and remove or limit the risk of any future failures. I suppose I'll have a look at this power lead as well and just see how safe that actually is. I might swap that switch out for something with a plastic cover or fit something over it just for a little bit of added safety, considering that is switching the mains. And then that's possibly... oh, I might disconnect that bit of circuitry that's going to the RF modulator. Even though it does seem to work, it's only going to work on my portable. So what I'd like to do, what I'd prefer, is to do a composite mod on it, just to make it a bit more usable. Which means I'll have to disconnect that circuitry. I'll leave it in place, so it stays with the computer, but I'll just electrically remove it. But other than that, it's just going to need a clean, because it is absolutely disgusting. And I'll try and preserve it as original as the original owner had it, as much as possible, because clearly this is something that somebody's put an awful lot of thought and work into, and I don't really want to mess with that. I want to try and keep it as it is. So yeah, the next video will probably just be a little bit of maintenance on it. Whenever I get round to that, I don't know when. Oh yeah, and like I said before, if there's anything that was in that box software wise that you want to have a closer look at, let me know. I'm quite happy to fire up a computer and see if those games actually load. We'll have a look at what's on those tapes, not a problem at all. Well, I think I'll just leave this video here for now, and I'll say thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Yeah.